Welcome to Toffee TV. We're here. We're doing this live and we're here to talk about Phil Jagielka. He's just announced that he's leaving Everton Football Club. This video is sponsored by OneFootball. OneFootball's app makes it easy to find all the latest scores, stats and news in one place. To download the app, click the link in the description. So Phil Jagielka has left Everton Football Club. He's announced that on his Instagram account. Have you got the full...
You want the statement?
I do want the statement.
Oh, you don't want to look at that. Let me just get them up here. I didn't realise we were doing the full statement.
We're doing the full statement.
Let's go then with it. Here we go. It's been hard to confirm my situation for next season, as that decision hadn't been fully made until now by the club. Unfortunately, my journey at Everton has come to an end after 12 fantastic seasons. I've been lucky enough to play over 380 games and lucky enough to be club captain for 6 years. All I can say is thanks to all the players I've played alongside, all the staff that have helped me in their own way, the chairman and of course amazing fans. Wishing everyone associated with this special club the very best for the future. Come on, you Blues. So that was his statement. First reactions from leaving Everton Football Club? Yeah, not surprised. I think we all knew at the Burnley game when he got brought on in the 89th minute of a game that was over for no reason, and he got a standing ovation. I think the crowd knew, but it's still sad. He's been an unbelievable signing. You know, David Moyes took the piss with the £4 million and £1 bid to get him from Sheffield United, and he's come in and he's been absolutely outstanding for us. Yeah, he hasn't been allowed punching chest, screaming in people's faces, captain, but he's led by example. He's led by his performances on the pitch, and he's been brilliant. I love him, and he always looked great pre-season with his tan. But now he's been an absolutely brilliant defender, and you know what? I still maintain if he wouldn't have got that cruciate injury in 2009, we'd have won the FA Cup. But I'll miss him because he's been great for us, and he knows what the club's about. But good luck to him. You know what? I'm not sure he wasn't offered a new deal. I'm just not sure the deal was what he wanted. But I'd like him to go and play somewhere, because I've said it before, and I think I said it on one of the videos we've done today. If you're him, go and play. You've got limited time left. Being fourth choice at the club when you've been club captain isn't the way to finish your career. That's my opinion.
Do you think that's what he's basically saying? Maybe the contract isn't great, and if it's not great and if he's not playing, then what's the point? He wants to go somewhere, maybe get another year, maybe get a year with Sheffield United, Aston Villa, you know.
I've got one for you.
Go on.
Right. The club quite clearly have got designs on bringing in either Zuma full time or another centre back, and the fact now that this decision's been determined today, could that possibly mean that the club have got some new information regarding one of the targets?
It's hard to say, isn't it? I mean, because the you know, we know that he's out of contract. This is typically the time, you know, when other clubs have just announced that players are leaving. So it's strange, just because what he said is just a little bit. It's a little bit weird, isn't it? The way he said it, like, you know, it doesn't quite paint a picture, because you're only hearing his side. We don't know what Everton haven't made an announcement, as far as I know, regarding it yet. So only he has made a statement on it. So it's hard to determine at what he's getting at, but we'll have to wait and see. I just think he's a fantastic servant for Everton Football Club. Like you said there, not necessarily the captain. I mean, just looking at Everton's website, there's nothing on Everton's website about it, which again, when we talk about communication, I just find that strange. Yeah. He's been a great leader, a great servant. As you just said, he's not always been the captain we've needed on the pitch. Sometimes we've needed a little bit more in certain games. But, you know, he is that example for other people. The way he carries himself, the way he conducts himself, he's always been brilliant from that point of view. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. I think if we'd had him and Sylvain Distin as our centre backs him and Jolien Lescott as our centre backs in 09, then I think we would have done a lot better. That they were a fantastic partnership. Jags was the ultimate defender. Lescott was the player with the pace and the player who could score goals, and they complemented themselves each other brilliantly. But then him and Distin struck up a brilliant partnership as well. And he's done that all the time while he's been at Everton. He's struck up brilliant partnerships, and that says a lot about him and about he always seems to be someone you can have a laugh with. I've interviewed him a couple of times, been around him a couple of times, and just seems like a really nice fellow who's got a lot of time for people. And he's another one, isn't he? You know, we're yet to hear of Leighton Baines' decision, but if Baines goes as well, it'll essentially only leave Seamus Coleman, and obviously Seamus Coleman will probably take over now as club captain. You would imagine he's already basically the first team captain, but he'll take over as club captain, and that'll be another great. You know, he is another great ambassador for the club. So it's sad, but it's football, isn't it? I mean, I suppose the saddest thing from his point of view is that he leaves the club never lifting a trophy, and that's ultimately
quite a few have done that.
Yeah, I know, but ultimately, you know, a lot of people judge themselves by that. But he's given us some great moments. He obviously got the goal this year against Arsenal.
Well, that was his last start at Goodison.
It was, yeah, and we won the game. So you know, he's come up with some big moments, and you know, I think everyone is sad to see him go, but it is the right time, because that's how football works. You leave at the wrong time and people hate you, or for a period.
Look at what happened with this, Dan.
Yeah,
you know, he was brilliant. I'm not saying he's the same as Jack. He was brilliant for us, and then in the end, people were like, "One get shut." You know, Tim Howard stayed 2 years too long, and people were sick of him at the end of it. You know, it happens, and the other thing about it is as well, you can't be a ruthless club trying to chase the top four and get better, and also be a club that keeps players on for sentimental reasons. So there's a trade-off there. Do you know what I mean? Us as fans sometimes don't like it, and us as fans will look at that, but at the end of the day, the club are going in a different direction. We've talked, me and you, many times about Marcel Brands having no emotion because he's not allowed to. So he'll look at that and go, 36, your fourth choice now, you've been injured quite a few times this season. If you're going to stay, this is the deal we're offering you. But if they've got another centre-back
doesn't what he said sort of... It doesn't really give you a clear picture of what's going on, does it?
Because no, but it makes me think that if he hasn't been given a good enough contract, right, and Everton have only decided today, maybe they've had that final conversation today with Brands, obviously, because he's felt the need to release it, then that makes me feel like Everton have got something else going on.
Well, that's fine, no, but
they've just gone, that's it.
I'm only mentioning that because one thing I don't like, and I'll be consistent with this. If a club decides, if Everton decide they don't want to keep a player, or they're not keeping a player, I would like to see that player get a send-off, because I was very disappointed with the club when they let Ozzy and Pina and Tony Hibbert, go, and they released them, and there was no, but they never got a chance. If they
but okay,
but
there's a flip side to that, mate, and that flip side to that is Liverpool just released Daniel Sturridge and Moreno, right? So did they get a send?
I don't care about them.
No,
I know, but no.
Football's a business.
No,
you can't
but that's
go.
not the. You can't.
No, you can't.
You can't. If you make a decision, this is the question I'm asking. If you make a decision, and that's the question I'm asking, if you make a decision that you're letting a player go, you can give them a send off. You can say to them, they're finished. They're not getting a contract. That's the cold-hearted business side of it. What I'm saying is you can do that, and on the flip side, you can say to people they're not getting a contract. So that's what I'm saying. It would be interesting to know whether he was offered something and it just wasn't on his terms. If he was offered something and it wasn't on his terms, that's fine. The club have tried to keep him at the club. What I'm saying is I didn't like when the club let Leon Osman go, and they had Tony Hibbert and Pina, and they were never keeping him, and they didn't signal to people right? They're leaving, so fans could say that goodbye. And that we half did it with the last game of the season. I'm not criticising them at the club. I'm just saying if the club didn't offer him a contract or don't ever offer anyone a contract, it'd be nice to just say the last game of the season, they're going. Thanks. It's great having you. But if they've offered them one, which he sort of the statement sort of alludes that there might have been one, then that's fine. I've got absolutely no problem with
What
that.
if the club don't want to make a decision until the season's finished?
Well, then again, that's fine as well. The point being is, if the club
if the club know that they're not staying,
then
maybe
it's always nice to. Well, that's fine.
Of course, but it's difficult. I know what you're saying, because us as fans, it's an emotional thing. But again, it's back to the business side, and if the club aren't sure, or I don't know, maybe Brands is, I don't know, maybe Brands is looked and thought, well, if we keep, if Zuma, because Everton, Silver's been quite open and said he wants to keep him. Say something's changed with Zuma and he wants to stay, yeah, and Everton have been given some encouragement, and you think, well, Jagielka, and we've got Holgate coming back. He might look and go, well, Jagielka's blocking Holgate. Jagielka's not the future.
I've got no problem with that. If a club could offer a contract and then pull the contract away, they could do that after the season's ending. I just don't like when if a club knows, but the club mightn't have known. That's fine. I've got no problem with that.
I think it might just be that he's not being given the assurances he wants, and he's decided that.
That's fine, because he's made the decision. Then it would be nice to get some. Not saying we'll get clarification. The club will probably just reach the statement saying Phil Jagielka has left the club. It's just a bit weird that there's still nothing on the club.
I'll just keep it flashing.
That's a bit. Fine.
Well, I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't surprise me because they're not great at communication. Because again, no, it's one of those things where if he is leaving the club, and he said that the club might be, for all we know, at 7 o'clock tonight, you might see all kinds of tributes and videos for him on the website and that kind of thing. You know, the club might have said, do us a favour, just hold off on that and we'll put something out joint. You don't know. Sometimes you criticise the club and there's no need to, but
Jay Mack has said currently just 2 players remain from the David Moyes era. Quite staggering, really. He took over 17 years ago and left 6 years ago. And that's Jags. I mean, obviously it's Baines and Coleman, isn't it? Which is mad.
There ain't that many people left from the Martinez era.
No, but that's why that is staggering, isn't it, in football?
But then that shows how good they were as signings. That really does. The fact that 3 of that back 4 were still remaining last season.
Just to go back to LA Walkway, then it's Seamus your obvious choice to be the captain going forward now.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you not think with Coleman being 30 and then possibly looking to replace him, that it makes sense to make? I mean, you spoke sometimes about Michael Keane potentially because he's a younger player. He'll be here. But did not make sense to make someone like him the captain now and just for long?
No, because I think that would be a slap in the face to Seamus Coleman. Okay. He's essentially would be getting that responsibility, and he deserves that responsibility, and he might only have it for a year or two. So I think that would be unfair on Seamus now. I think he's still the best captain we've got at the club, and I think he is someone at times who does beat his chest and all that kind of thing. But I think also off the pitch, he's a fantastic. Yeah, he's amazing. Fantastic off the pitch as well. Great ambassador. Great ambassador. Represents the club really well. We've spoke to him. He knows how to talk to people. He's very sort of down to earth and knows what's going on at the grassroots level. You hear all kinds of stories about him. I've heard from people, that he's sent people into like the club shop to buy 250 shirts with his name and number on the back, and then he sends them home and gives them to all the people in the village and stuff like that, and things like that. Just things that just keep him in touch with people. And
no, he's a great fella. And you're right, as a club captain, you couldn't ask for a better person to represent the club, because he is down to it in an era where footballers aren't. He very much bucks that trend of fucking dabbing and doing all sorts of nonsense, dancing in the dressing rooms and stuff. Listen, he's had his criticism on the pitch, and he's given it back sometimes to the fans. But as a big boy, you can take it. Just as a man, I think when you hear him and he says things about players have to take more responsibility, and he's sick of
players always putting the responsibility onto a manager or using this excuse. He's like, no, we earn enough money to be able to take that criticism and actually, sit down and actually explain why certain things have happened. He never shirks his responsibility as a player or as a captain. So I'm fully on board with him being the next captain.
I think it makes perfect sense to just keep that going quite easily with him there. The continuity's there, and obviously we've had players in the squad like Tom Davies has wore the armband a few times last season, and Michael Keane maybe, like you say, in the future. But it's interesting, isn't it? There's Steve. Where have you been, Steve? I think Jag's going is the correct decision. Great servant, top bloke. Watched the transfer show with Baz and Andy and heard over the weekend Haller and Maxi Gomez. Both would be very, very good. Haller, very good. So interesting. Very, very interesting. Stay just quickly. Ramirez was the centre-back I was talking about yesterday, the 28-year-old from Girona. That was the one I was talking about.
I think with in terms of other players to become captain, is there anyone actually in the dressing room who could stand up and say, I deserve to be the captain over Seamus Coleman? Would anyone think, well, because listen, it does happen. It does happen.
Sandro.
Oh well, I mean, he's got the wages. There are players that the manager might say, at a club, listen, this is my regime now. I'm taking over. I want to go with a fresh approach, someone who can lead us forward. We've seen that happen at other clubs in the past, where it's taken off someone who might be like, you just concentrate on your own game now. But I just don't think there's anyone in the dressing room who would actually feel like they would deserve to be the captain over Seamus Coleman, and would actually want to be the captain over Seamus Coleman. You've tried other people. Sigurdsson's not really a captain. He's a captain only in sort of in name and because he's done it international wise. I'm trying to think who else.
Tom doesn't play enough.
Tom's being the captain, and he is one that you go in the future and say you could lead us going forward. But apart from that, there's no one who plays enough, is there? Pickford, no, he's not. He plays all the time. He's not a captain for me. Michael Keane, maybe. Does he want it? Well, he's not. He's not stepped forward. It'd be interesting next season, because if Seamus is the captain and there's no Jags and maybe there's no Baines, then it's like, well, who's the next one? Who's the next? Maybe then maybe the manager says, you know what, I'm going to appoint my
captain,
deputy captain, and whoever, when Seamus doesn't play, then actually Keane might be the captain.
Well, Steve Kelly again. I think Luca Dean shows loads of leadership qualities, and with his game and the desire to win.
Yeah, I get that, but I also think some players just are natural at just playing. And I
think Garner does, but I wouldn't give him the captaincy. But I think he plays like a captain.
Just want him to be at Everton.
He's just everywhere, isn't he? So it is one of them. Gary Cottle, you lads getting any more videos coming up from the pivot? Yeah, he'll be on it. Andy will be on again as we go through the summer, definitely.
Do us a favour.
Yeah.
Let us know. Let us know your thoughts in the comments on Phil Jagielka. Just your opinions of him over the time at Everton, and who would you like to see as the Everton captain next season, or how would you like to see that go? Get those in the comments for us. Thank you very much.